See if we can start this. Where's my Twitter? See if we can start this. What's up, guys? Welcome to NFB TV Canes all day. If you're rocking with you, then you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on the video. Today, we're going to talk about Mark Pope. And basically, there's a video going out on Amazon Prime. There's a documentary with Jackson State. They followed Jackson State last year, and now the documentary is just coming out. So Jackson State's they followed them throughout the season, their ups, their downs, last chance you style. Well, this past episode, which you can find on Amazon, we see an old friend. We see an old Miami Hurricane. We see Mark Pope. I can't show you the clip, obviously, on screen because Amazon, they don't be playing about their videos. But basically, in the video, Coach Prime comes in and he says there's a family member that's been talking about the family. There's a family member that's been talking about the family and could be a cancer to the family, could be hurting the family. He then asks for the opinion of everybody in the room. Now, everybody in the room is the coaching staff's on the wall. The players are right in front of him. It's everybody in there. And at this point, we don't know who he's talking about. So one coach says, maybe we should think on it, coach. Dion says, I've been thinking on it. I've given it some time. Then somebody says, maybe this is a family member. We need to give them another chance. Dion says, I've given several chances. I'm like, dang, who are we talking about? Somebody says, hey, they're family. We got to ride with family. Dion says, well, what if the family is poisoning the family? What if they're being a cancer to the family? So finally he says, if you want this player to get another chance, if you think he deserves another chance, stand up. Some players stand up. Then he says, if you think this player's gotta go, you stand up. And the majority of the room then stands up. I even kind of tried to pay attention to what Mark Pope, the player that we're talking about, I was trying to see, did he stand up quick to stay or anything like that, but I couldn't tell. But I did notice that Shiloh, QB1, not Shiloh, Shador, QB1, he stood up. He was one of the ones that stood up and said he needs to go. I just kind of looked at that because I thought that was interesting to see who thought he needed to go, like how the players' reactions. Well, after that, he says, okay, get out. Get out. They voted you out. Get out. And he was talking about our old pal, Mark Pope. Now, for you guys who don't know, Mark Pope came out of high school, 4 or 5-star wide receiver, got to Miami. It didn't pan out. He entered the transfer portal, went to JSU. And how I remember it is he got dismissed from JSU. Then he was back with JSU. And then he got after the season, he entered the transfer portal. He did graduate, so I do want to put that out there. And now everybody wants to know, was Prime right or was Prime wrong about this situation? When I pull up my screen here, let's go ahead and refresh it. Was Prime wrong for how he handled the Mark Pope situation? 53% said yep. 46% said no. And we had 99 votes so far. Some people said he let the team decide if you wanted to keep the cancer, and they decided to cut the cancer. I love it. We got my guy Ben says yes and no, he's not wrong. He shouts out his YouTube. Get this man a retweet, check him out. My boy, all about the U83. One of the reasons I got into talking about Miami Hurricane football was because of him. Shout out to all about the U83. Mike says, I don't know how it ends in this situation, so I can't vote right now. I go back and forth on this. I go back and forth on this. My boy 904 Hurricane, shout out to him. He said it explains some of the problems at Miami. Hell no, Prime wasn't wrong. A lot of people feel that way. So let's kind of talk through my thoughts, because usually when situations like this happen, I like to be on one side of the fence. I like to give you a yes or no, but honestly, I'm going back and forth. And here's why. One of the main things that how I was raised, my mother always said, what happens in this house stays in this house. Don't you go to school talking about what's going on in this house. Don't you go down the block telling your friends what's happening in this house. That's how I was raised. So when people say they should have kept it in house, I do understand it. Now, here's where I go back and forth on the situation, because then I could say, well, check it out. One of Deion Sanders' recruiting pitches is this. If you come play for me, then you're going to be on cameras 24/7. And that will give you publicity, and that will give you exposure, and that will help you with NIL deals if you do what's right. So I look at this situation, I say, Mark Pope, Deion Sanders has been doing this documentary way before Mark Pope. Deion Sanders has been recording every move at Jackson State way before Mark Pope. When Mark Pope decided to go to Jackson State, this is what he signed up for. This isn't just a random season where Deion just brought the cameras out randomly. No, Deion has been recording practices, meetings, everything since he's gotten to Jackson State. But then I say, well, Grant, he could have handled it better, Maybe there was different ways. Maybe he should have just explained to us what happened, Me being a content creator, and I've made YouTube style documentaries, not to the level of an Amazon Prime, but one of the things that, and I study documentaries to get better at content creation. And one of the things you see a lot is they will kind of be like, Mark Pope coming to my office. And all they'll show you is the font that says Mark Pope was dismissed, or they'll start off with like Prime saying, we got to get rid of a player. And then the font will go up, Mark Pope was dismissed from the team. Seeing him basically call the player out like that, I see how some people got upset. Again, this is where I go back and forth on the situation, because then I say, yes, I am a believer of you keeping things in-house, but I'm also a believer in you got to take accountability for your actions. I actually believe, when I look at my life, a lot of the times when I was disappointed in my life, when I wasn't proud of my life, when I wasn't happy with what I was doing, when I wasn't happy with what I was achieving, I was blaming other people instead of looking myself in the mirror and blaming myself first. I wasn't saying, Grant, how did you get in this situation? What did you do to get here? So is Mark Pope going to be upset? I'm sure. But then he has to ask himself, how did he get to JSU? How did he go from the U to JSU? How did he go from a Power 5 team that has won national championships to a HBCU? How did he go from starting? This is a guy that played a lot of minutes for an ACC team to going to Jackson State. It wasn't by accident. And I think Mark Pope has to look himself in the eye. Rob Ray says the filming was the issue. But here's the thing. When you come to JSU, you know you're going for the filming. That was one of the reasons that some players went to JSU, because Deion said, if you come here, I'm going to put you on camera and let you show the world what you can do. The thing about the camera is going to show the good and the bad. I've seen a lot of takes that say Deion is all about himself. He's doing it for the camera. All I know is if you record yourself enough, if you put a lot of content out, you're going to eventually reveal who you are. So I think it's easier for a head coach not to film anything. I think it's harder to put out content every day, because if you put out content every day, people are going to eventually know who you are. But it's easier to hide if you don't. So I don't agree with Prime is only doing it for Prime. I mean, this is how he's always done things. In the end, I think I settled with this. I think I settled with Prime could have handled things differently, but Mark Pope isn't a victim. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, Mark Pope didn't deserve this. Mark Pope didn't deserve that. Mark Pope this or that." But Mark Pope got himself in that situation. Deion didn't just say, "Okay, we have to. This documentary has to need some flair in it. Let's just make something up." And think about it. Him doing it in front of the team, any player could have been any player. I mean, Mark Pope could have stood up right then while the cameras was rolling saying, "I didn't do anything wrong." Mark Pope could have stood up and said, "I didn't do anything wrong. I deserve to be on this team." He just kind of sat there, or at least how it was edited. Let me just say that how it was edited, he didn't stand up and speak. Now, they could have easily edited that part out. I don't think they would, though. Tough situation. Mark Pope, a 5-star wide receiver, ends up at JSU. And when I saw him go to Jackson State, I was excited for him, because I was like, hey, we're going to get to see this kid a lot on YouTube, because on the documentaries and stuff like that. I was excited for him. He's going to do great things. I thought he was going to do great with Jackson State, but it didn't click. And then now people are acting like, oh, he got kicked off the team. It's the end of the world. Well, the kid went on to get his undergrad. He went on to graduate. Sometimes these situations is needed. Sometimes it's better to do what Prime did to get his attention, so maybe he realizes either A, I'm Mark Pope and I need to do better and get this football thing right, or B, I didn't bounce back and got my diploma from the U. Nobody can take that away. I don't know. I always root for, I don't know how other people feel about this, but I always root for the Miami Hurricanes that leave the program. I always follow them to see kind of what they're doing. And I always root for them. Especially I'm a advocate of when players don't do good at the Power 5 level, you don't have to necessarily go to another Power 5 school. It's okay to drop down levels in competition. If you're going to have the work ethic, if you're going to still put in the work. Cam said he got kicked off of Jackson State. There is a documentary on Amazon Prime that shows him getting dismissed from the team last year. So I would say go check that out. Let's see. And that's something else I will say is I haven't watched the full documentary. I'm waiting for all the episodes to come out. I just watched a 2-minute clip. So we got 132 votes. 55% say yep. 44% say no. Let's see. And that's something that some people aren't bringing up a lot either, is that he did allow the team to talk about it. He did allow the team to vote on it. He did handle it with the family. So I guess the players were okay with it. Wait, did I see? What was that? Okay. As a coach, you should handle that business with the player personally or appoint the captains to do so. Just my opinion. In the segment, Prime said that Pope talked bad about the family. I'm guessing by talking bad about the family, he's talking about maybe Pope didn't like being at JSU. Whatever that means. And when a player said give him another chance, Prime said this is his second or third time he's committed a whatever infraction. As the saying goes, 3 strikes, you're out. I think most of most of people disagreeing is they're not disagreeing with why he got kicked off the team. I think people are upset with how it was filmed and saying Prime didn't have to film it, put it out there, show him walking out and all that stuff. There could have been a better way to put it. They could have sauced it up a little bit more. NMD, would you think we target boundary corners like Devontae Brown? Because when I look at Daryl Porter Jr., he's more of a slot, not a boundary. I'll talk about that on another time. Right now, I'm trying to keep it on the talk about the Mark Pope situation. But in short, I think we need a lot of different corners. I think our cornerback position is going to look a lot different next year. We got Kermani coming. Hopefully, we got Kermani coming in. We got the Brown brothers. We got Porter coming back. We got Corey Couch. See how it plays out. Usually there is a player committee that has those conversations that makes this decision. I don't really have an issue with this. The whole team needs to understand what occurred. Sometimes as a coach, you got to make an example. And I've seen this before. Coaches have to make an example to let players know that they're not playing around. I've seen it before. Because if you let players do whatever they want to, the locker room could fall apart, you know? If you let players who don't win a starting quarterback job disappear, whoa. Demand to switch positions. You switch him to wide receiver for a couple games. Then he wants to switch back to quarterback. Then he move him back to quarterback. Then he disappears during the season, and we see him on Instagram with his breezy. Then he comes back and he plays terrible. Who would have thought? Then he sits out for a season. Then he wants to come back. If you let stuff like that happen, your locker room then falls apart. This is some clown stuff by Prime. Whatever went on, handle that privately. Kid's career and reputation is now permanently damaged and publicly documented for the world to see. Dion is a cancer. Woo! Wait. I wouldn't say Dion is a cancer. The kid's career and reputation is now permanently damaged. Do one on Dee Wiggins. I believe Dee Wiggins is at Louisville right now. Dee Wiggins is at Louisville. Right? See what Dee Wiggins' stats look like this year. I'm just curious since you said that. I thought Dee Wiggins, didn't Dee Wiggins go to Louisville? Yeah, Dee Wiggins, Louisville. Oh, he got injured. Oh, man, he got injured. Dee Wiggins was expected to be a deep threat for Louisville after transferring from Miami. Now the Cardinals will have to look elsewhere. If Wiggins left Saturday's game against Florida State early with a foot injury. In 3 games, he was able to play. The Florida native had 67 yards on 4 catches. I hope he bounced back. I hope he gets better. Where is Brinson going? Romello is visiting Penn State. Romello is visiting Penn State. He visited Colorado. And now he's headed over to visit Penn State. If it's true, if it's true that a player gets one transfer, it's possible that Pope was kicked off JSU so he could walk on. No, that's not it, Glenn. I promise you that's not it. That is not it at all. That is not it at all. I know that's not a reason. If Prime wanted him at JSU, he would just have him transfer and find a way around it. You only can transfer once, but there are ways around it. Like if you're a graduate, you get a free transfer. You can do a waiver, but that's not it. Because this happened like in the middle of the season before Prime even committed to Colorado. Some things are better left private. Something like that being recorded and let out just shows me he's all about the show. Just like I said about Mark Pope, Dion, when you record everything, you make a decision to record everything, this is the backlash you're going to get. It comes with recording everything. I have no real problem with how he handled it, but recording the meeting and releasing it to the public viewing is totally unacceptable. And I go back, I think that is the overall take in this situation is most people are okay with how he handled it, but they don't like that he recorded it, basically profiting off of it, put it out there. You know, there are people that are just boo-hoo, Mark Pope, somebody save Mark Pope. No. You have to have consequences to your actions, because in the real world, there's going to be serious consequences to your actions. But sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do. And like I said, I hate that it seems as I'm flipping back and forth because I do like to pick a side, but this is just one where 1 minute I'll say I understand, and the next minute I'll tell you no. Dang, that man said 50% of y'all is soft. Well, why? I guess he said, oh, yeah, he said y'all soft. That's tough. I may do a video, just a full mini documentary on what happened with Mark Pope. Like really try to find some interviews like from his own word and stuff, so we really can figure out, what happened. You know what? Let's take a look at the let's take a look at a couple things, man. Let's do some deep diving. I've had my coffee. I got a little bit more time. Let's see. I don't want to play any copyright music. But this was Mark Pope in high school. What does this say? The man jogging on him. Just blowing by defenders. Whoop, look at that. Jogging on him. Somebody said cut the music out. Let's see what Rival said about him. Let me see. I don't know if I can. I want to see if I can start looking up like what they said. That's one thing I do like to do is go back to what people were saying about a athlete. Let's see. Share screen. See if I can get the audio with this one.
Mark Pope committing to Miami is just really a continuation of something incredible that's taking place in Coral Gables right now. They've really kind of caught lightning in a bottle here, and the momentum is building in Miami. What they're getting in Pope is just an explosive wide receiver. He's been on the scene since he was in 8th grade. Everybody kind of knew who Mark Pope was. He's one of these Pop Warner legends in the Miami area that really panned out. Not all of them panned out, but obviously Pope won a state championship at Miami Southridge this year and plays 7-on-7 every weekend, where he has dominated almost every tournament he's played in this year. Recently won an MVP at one of them. What people don't talk about Pope is his hands, though. There are a lot of wide receivers that can create separation, especially in South Florida, but Pope catches anything thrown in his general vicinity. He's probably as well-rounded a wide receiver as there is in the state right now. They've got to be thrilled with what they're getting, and even more thrilled that this momentum continues to build on itself. And that kind of happens in recruiting. Everything compounds, and I think Miami will see this momentum carry out.
Look at some of these comments. Putting Miami back on the map. I'm about to cry. It feels so good. All about the U. Yes, sir. He wants to make Miami great again.
You see the U, you see the bracelets, multiple bracelets there. Mark Pope, one of the top playmakers in the 2018 class from South Florida, staying home, going to the University of Miami. We were just talking off, said it's pretty much done. Recruitment's over with. There are some other schools still trying to come at you. Who's still trying to communicate with you and get you on their campus?
Nebraska, a couple schools, Nebraska.
You made it sound like your heart's pretty set on Miami. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Well, what makes Miami? Obviously, it's the local school. You're from that area. What makes Miami the right school for you?
Just staying home, putting on like where I'm from. Just put Miami back on the map.
Well, yeah. What's your thoughts? I mean, Mark Richt's, 1 year into his tenure as the head coach of Miami, his alma mater. How's he changed the program in that short time?
Coming off a championship, like I know they had the same record as the year before when but like the atmosphere around the school was better when he came.
Yeah.
Mark Pope, what could have been, man? Mark Pope, what could have been. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here, guys. I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy. Join a membership. When I start doing call-in shows, members will get first out of the studio. So if you want to be a member of the channel, the link is in the description. Become a member. Special emotes, Q&As, and then you also get first dibs when we do the live call-in shows because those are coming back. Peace.